I'm Adam.
And I'm Cupcake.
And this is Where There's a Williams, There's a Way. Hey, Cupcake, do you ever go visit one of your relatives at the cemetery?
I visit both of my parents about once a month.
Do they have a real nice resting ground?
Oh, they're not dead, but I hate the place that they stay, so I call it the cemetery.
Oh, that's unusual.
They hate it.
I can see why. In today's book, a little boy and his father visit a memorial to pay respect to the boy's grandfather. Let's get started. The Wall by Eve Bunting, illustrated by Ronald Himler. This is the wall, my grandfather's wall. On it are the names of those killed in a war long ago. Where is Grandpa's name? I ask. We have to find it, Dad says. He and I have come a long way for this, and we walk slowly searching. The wall is black and shiny as a mirror. In it, I can see Dad and me. I can see the bare trees behind us and the dark, flying clouds. A man in a wheelchair stares at the names. He doesn't have legs. I'm looking, and he sees me looking and smiles. Hi, son. Hi. His hat is a soft squash green, and there are medals on it. His pant legs are folded back, and his shirt is a soldier's shirt. A woman old as my grandma is hugging a man, old as my grandpa would be. They're both crying. Shh, he whispers. Shh. Flowers and other things have been laid against the wall. There are little flags, an old teddy bear, and letters, weighted with stones so they won't blow away. Someone has left a rose with a droopy head. Have you found Grandpa yet? I ask. No, Dad says. There are so many names. They're listed under the years when they were killed. I found 1967. That's when my grandpa died. Dad runs his fingers along the rows of print, and I do too. The letters march side by side like rows of soldiers. They're nice and even. It's better printing than I can do. The wall is warm.
Hey, Adam. Have you ever visited the Vietnam Memorial in Washington, D.C.? You probably have. You've been everywhere.
I have not been everywhere, but I have been to this memorial.
It seems overwhelming to find a name on it.
That seems to me kind of the point. It shows how many people died for us, and that was just one war.
The survivors are a bunch of old people like me.
There are a little less than 1 million. My father's a Vietnam War vet.
God bless him. Thank him for his service for me.
Dad is searching and searching. Albert A. Jensen, Charles Bronowski, George Munoz, he mutters. His fingers stop moving. Here he is. My grandpa? I ask. Dad nods. Your grandpa. His voice blurs. My dad. He was just my age when he was killed. Dad's rubbing the name, rubbing and rubbing as if he wants to wipe it away. Maybe he just wants to remember the way it feels. He lifts me so I can touch it too. We've brought paper. Dad puts it over the letters and rubs on it with a pencil, so the paper goes dark and the letters show up white. You've got parts of other guys' names on there too, I tell him. Dad looks at the paper. Your grandpa won't mind. They were probably friends of his anyway, I say. Dad nods. Maybe so. A man and a boy walk past. Can we go to the river now, Grandpa? The boy asks. Yes, the man takes the boy's hand. But button your jacket, it's cold. My dad stands very still with his head bent. A bunch of big girls in school uniforms come down the path. Their teacher is with them. They're all carrying more of those little flags. Is this wall for the dead soldiers, Miss Gerber? One of them asked in a loud voice. The names are the names of the dead, but the wall is for all of us, the teacher says.
Did you go to Washington, D.C. on a class trip?
No, although I was interested in going on one when I was in high school. It was a bit cost prohibitive for me, though.
Did you go with your father?
No, he's never been to the Vietnam Memorial.
He should go sometime. I hear that it's a powerful impact on people.
He's not interested. He says it's bad enough that he lost so many friends. He doesn't need to be reminded of all the other people that were lost as well.
That's the thing about memorials. They are there so that people don't forget about those that were lost.
It makes it easier for remembrance or to pay your respects to those you didn't even know. They make a lot of noise and ask a lot of questions, and all the time Dad just stands there with his head bowed, and I stand beside him. The girls stick their flags in the dirt in front of the wall and leave. Then it's quiet again. Dad folds the paper that has Grandpa's name on it and puts it in his wallet. He slides out a picture of me, one of the yucky ones they took in school. Mom made me wear a tie. Dad puts the picture on the grass below Grandpa's name. It blows away. I get it and put it back and pile some little stones on top. My face smiles up at me from under the stones. Grandpa won't know who I am, I tell Dad. I think he will, Dad says. I move closer to him. It's sad here. He puts his hand on my shoulder. I know, but it's a place of honor. I'm proud that your grandfather's name is on this wall. I am too. I am. But I'd rather have my grandpa here, taking me to the river, telling me to button my jacket because it's cold. I'd rather have him here.
Do you really think that it's a good idea to leave little tchotchkes laying around this revered space?
Many people just mourn differently.
But littering?
I think that it's different leaving a note to a loved one or a memento.
I suppose that it's not like graffiti.
No, it's done out of reverie.
And love.
Speaking of love, if you love this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. I'm Adam.
And I'm Cupcake.
And this is Where There's a Williams, There's a Way. Note: the Vietnam Veterans Memorial honors the men and women of the armed forces of the United States who served in the Vietnam War. On it are listed the names of those who gave their lives and those missing in action. The memorial is located in Washington, D.C. On the long black wall are more than 58,000 names. Did you know a college student won the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Design Contest? More than 1,400 submissions for the project were judged anonymously by a panel of 8 artists and designers. In the end, the panel passed over every professional architect in favor of a 21-year-old Yale University student, Maya Lin, who had created her design for a class.